So my name is Najra Elliott. I live in Liverpool 8. We're originally from L1 and L8, from as long back as we can remember, 1840, when my Irish great-grandfather, I'm not sure, sorry, Luke Bernard, arrived in Liverpool. The garment I've chosen, though, is from my other heritage, in my West African heritage. I from Liverpool's black community, but I consider myself multi-generational mixed race. With both my parents being mixed race, both grandfathers being black West African, and grandmothers being white of Irish descent. So I've chosen this item of clothing. Oh, I don't need to do that, do I?
Yeah, that's fine. Sorry.
Chosen a dashiki, which is basically quite a generic West African t-shirt. It's I think the roots are actually Ghanaian, but it's associated with most of West Africa and became popular within the civil rights movement when Black African Americans in America embraced their racial pride due to obviously the discrimination they were facing. When they became woke, which is where the actual term originates, but it's been changed into something else, which is quite negative, unfortunately, when all it was about was social justice. So I chose the dashiki because I went on holiday to Cape Verde and I thought of African Oye, which is celebrated in Liverpool. And when I seen the item, I just thought that would be perfect for it. I don't tend to wear it for anything but maybe cultural events initially, but then I became confident and I just wear it for every day. So for me, I think it was just part of embracing my African heritage. I know a lot about my Irish heritage, luckily, through documentation, ancestry.com, but I haven't got that same um, ability to trace my African heritage, although I do know a lot about the nations that I come from. Both my grandfathers resided in Liverpool and came after World War II. They were in the Merchant Navy, they were welcomed here, but my grandfathers didn't leave a trace of who their parents were, let alone my great-great-grandparents. So I know very little. So it's always, as much as I adore being a Scouser, I have to always embrace my Irish heritage and my African heritage, but that is quite common within Liverpool anyway. We're an immigrant city, we're a port, it's well documented, all that. And due to the lack of knowing as much about my African heritage, I always seem to try and find out. I've got a thirst for it to find out more. So that's why I chose that item today. I just think the connection between West Africa and Liverpool anyway is massive due to the transatlantic slave trade. My nation, from my paternal grandfather, is Setra Crew, and the Crew Nation have been coming to Liverpool for over 250 years because they were known as being fantastic navigators, seafarers. So the actual British companies would hire crewmen. The actual original name was Clow. They were the Clow Nation, but it was then corrupted. The term was corrupted to crewmen. So crew, it's an English corruption because that's how great they were seen by you know the British. So they would actually hire them to navigate slave ships. So I just think that the connection between Liverpool and West Africa has been so long, and it's brought about so much difference in the demographics that it's just important to highlight, because I think the typical Scouser might not even realise that, and that is the reason why the crewmen like me grandfather came here in the first place. Some came for university. My maternal grandfather had friends that come for university. So the link between West Africa and Liverpool is strong and long standing. And although in some part it's been through obviously a bad period in both histories, it's the reality. And that's why I'm here today, a multi generational mixed race Scouser. So that's the story behind my dashiki. And it was interesting that when I first was wearing it, I'd get strange looks or people make a lot of assumptions. Um, but within time, like I said, I got confidence to wear it. Where if I was younger, I might have felt ashamed because being African wasn't something to be, proud of. Although within my own family, I was made to feel proud of my Irish and African heritage. But within Liverpool itself, it was just a bit like, I think African Oye has helped break down those types of attitudes. But yeah, it's just great to wear. I kind of feel free wearing it. Yeah. So that's it. I don't know if I can elaborate any further. LA, because LA is very diverse. Every different sector, every organisation, youth clubs, Granby Children's Centre, the mosque, the churches, everyone is really put in effort and time. Some people have got, the funding to do the parcels, and some people have just done it, particularly like the mosque. And, you know, the Caribbean Centre. And I know of so many different organisations within such a small, well, within the postcode of L8 that have really took it to task. And it's been over a year now and they're still doing it. So it's been amazing. Liverpool 8's like that though. I think when you have not, or you have not, then you give. You understand sufferation, so therefore you're more compelled to give and act. Where other communities, I've lived Manchester, I've lived London. I just don't see the same type of community spirit at all. And like I say, I think it's people that don't have that will give the most, because and you understand what it feels to be hungry or not be able to pay a bill. So therefore, if you have that little bit extra, you will actually put it there, because that's what I notice when I go to the likes of the John Archer Centre, the Florrie. You go in there and they are normal people, and I know that they haven't maybe got in their cupboard, but they're still offering their help and time and doing it, and it's very humbling. I mean, even myself, I've received parcels um, prior to working. I was previously just doing agency work, so I'd received parcels myself. I've never actually gone and got one, or but they just do it. That's what I mean. They just come and give me. So without having to ask, a lot of organizations and a lot of community centers will just give, which I think is the best policy. Where you have to sign up and stuff, that's embarrassing for some people. So the opt out option, if you like, instead of having to opt in, I've noticed that there's a lot of just giving. So where someone like myself and many others would not sign up for a food parcel because you've got your own dignity, you know, that's where it's been good, Liverpool 8, because you haven't had to do that. You haven't had to write your name and address and feel that, you're not doing your job, you're not providing for your family. So yeah, I think that's really good. And even the pantries where you pay, a few quid and you get bags of shopping, it gives people that bit of dignity. I mean, I was humbled when I went over to BBC Radio Merseyside there as well, because the bin bags of toys for the kids at Christmas were really good. You're not talking about little pound toys no more. You're talking about those kids would have been opening something decent, for the parents that were unable to do this, last Christmas. So yeah, but L8, I am very proud to be from. Um, like I say, they've just pulled out all the stops and they continue to. Like it's like it can go on for 5 years. I think Liverpool 8 will still do it, and the fact that they've come together, irrespective of different groupings or different orgs, and they've just gone on with it. There's a WhatsApp group where they communicate, and if that one group haven't got it, they'll send it over to another group. So they're going to look after the people, and even asylum seekers within a few minutes on Twitter, Liverpool Police I've dealt with that person who's coming from London, who's from Eritrea or wherever, and we look after them. They're in Liverpool Police, and that's that. And they're not strangers or alien to us because, like I say myself, I'm off alien, immigrant background. So we just invite them. It doesn't matter, Yemeni, Syrian, Kurdistan. We're not going to not welcome people because we're the outsiders in Liverpool Police. So everyone's welcome.